Good morning. Thanks for coming to the little seminar this morning. Today we're going to talk about one of Tech's new products on the market called the Tech Power Grout. It's been a long time since there's been a grout in the industry like this, and believe it or not, it does work. What we're going to show you is permanent stain resistance, so you never have to seal the grout. Next one will be fast setting and easy to install. You can get on your floor to 3 to 4 hours after it's installed, and you can use your showers 24 hours after it's installed instead of waiting the normal 72 hours, 5 days, 7 days with different acrylic mixtures that they put in grout. Single formula for floor and walls from a 1/16 of an inch to a 1/2 inch wide grout joints. Crack resistance, won't crack on you unless you have sustainable movement in your floor. It grout will crack, but it's shrinkage compensated so it will not crack. And mold and mildew resistance for wet areas for showers. Now this grout, when you mix it, just mix it like every other grout. Put your water in first, then your powder in, and then you want to let it sit for 10 minutes. So we've already mixed it. We're just going to let it sit for a couple more minutes. The new Power Grout comes in, we have 19 different colors that it comes in, same colors as XT. So if you're wondering what colors it does come in, you do have the grout charts, and it does say on the back of the grout charts what colors it comes in. So after we've mixed the grout, you let it slake for 10 minutes, mix it up again. We're going to take our grout, put another tile. The nicest thing with this grout is it's efflorescence free. So by the time we're finished, if we start at one end and we're an hour into it, and we have to wash it a little harder, we will not get any efflorescence in it because there's no Portland. And Portland's what causes the efflorescence. Probably pick one of the hardest colors to grout with to clean off the tile, and for efflorescence with normal grout, that if you were to use normal charcoal, that you would get a lot of efflorescence because you would have to put a lot of water on it, and the water will bring up the lime from the Portland. The grout's just like normal grout. Nice thing with this grout, it'll do exactly what epoxy grout does, but it's not chemical resistance. It's stain resistance for healthcare facilities, for front entrances, for doctors' offices, that if something does spill on it, we will be able to get the stain out. Now that we've grouted this, traditionally you're going to let the grout sit for 10, 20 minutes, half hour. It all depends on the temperature that you have in on the project where you're working. Warmer it is, the faster the grout will set, so we'll be able to clean it. Another secret is try to get as much off the tile as you can. As you can see though, with this tile it's very hard to get it clean. So we'll leave that for 10 or 15, 20 minutes now. And then we're going to come back and we're going to scrub it. And we're going to show you a new way how to scrub our clean tiles. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Okay, now we've waited about 20 minutes for the grout to start to set in the joints. And just to let you know, the tiles that we're using are a 2x2 mosaic, unglazed. So they're porous, a lot harder to clean off than a glazed tile. So now you can see I've left a little mountains of grout here. I'm going to show you two ways to clean it. First way is conventional way, with a sponge. Usually the installer will take a sponge and start scrubbing. Now when we start scrubbing like this, what you tend to get is you tend to dig out the grout joints. And since that grout, it's a little harder on the tile here, it's hard to get off, and we rub it back and forth, what happens? We're starting to make the grout joints concave, and that's where all the dirt's going to sit. You can see how hard it is to get off when we're using the sponge. come back and do our first clean. You can see I've left a lot of residue still on that with the sponge. It will come clean. You just got to remember we're using charcoal color grout here, so it's a little harder to get it off the tile. Remember, when you're grouting, the same as normal grout, make sure you don't have a lot of water in your sponge. Once we've cleaned this off, you're going to let this dry maybe for an hour, and then you can come back with a dry rag and buff this excess off. That's your traditional way of grouting or cleaning. Now what we're going to try is we're going to use a 3M scrubby pad, which is a white scrubby pad, and we only want to use the white. And what we use this if we've left the grout on too long. What's nice with this is we leave nice full grout joints instead of concave. So what we do is stick it in our bucket of water, take most of the water off of it because the pad does hold a lot of water. Now you can see right here that we have some thick spots, and that's pretty hard to get off. I can scratch it with my nail, but once I use this scrubby pad, what I'm doing now is just it'll make a slurry. We don't push very hard on it. So we make sure that we have nice full grout joints, and if there's any little pinholes in it, this actually will fill the pinholes in. Now after we've done that, get back to our sponge. And you just have to be patient today to clean the tiles off. Problem is, every time we go over top of the tile, since we've re-emulsified the grout a little bit, we're always going to pull a little bit out of the grout joint and get it on the tile. So what we try to do is get it as clean as possible, and we can come back with a dry rag and buff the tile to get all those little streaks off. Try to get it as clean as possible. Okay, I've put enough water on here, so the more times I go over top of it, it is going to pull some of the grout out. So I'm just going to leave this for now, let it dry, and then we'll take a dry rag and buff the excess off, and all this will come off, and you'll have full grout joints, and it will not be blotchy. Here we're just cleaning up the rest of the tile here. Like I said, since it's a very porous tile, it's hard to use a rag on it. You can still use a rag. I'll be able to get that off once it dries a little more. But to get all the black residue off, we'll just take the sponge. Very